What stranger will you never forget? When I was in elementary school, I fell through ice. A man who was walking his dog saw me fall and rushed to the shore. I frantically swam back to the shore. I was only about 5 meters into the pond, so it wasn't a long way, but it took some with soaked winter clothes. When I reached the shore, the man pulled me up by my jacket. It would have been difficult to get up, as there was a steep incline. I didn't thank him, because I was in shock, but I bet he knows I was grateful, and 20 years later I still hope I would have thanked him. I skidded out on black ice like 15 years ago, and my car spun several times, then slammed into a guardrail/snowbank facing traffic in the opposite way. A man who was walking to the train ran over, pushed me out of a snow embankment, and then pushed my car into a parking lot. He got me out of the car and made sure I didn't have a horrible concussion, and then waited for me to call my dad. I lived close, so he listened to me confirm my dad was like 3 minutes away and then took off running to catch his train. There was so much black ice and cars were sliding all over. He very easily could have saved my life. I wouldn't be able to pick him out of a lineup today, but I will never ever forget his kindness. I was doing tech support and my customer was so happy with my service she offered to marry me to her daughter. I politely declined. Do you also accept daughters for payment? I was waiting for my appointment with an optometrist when an old Haitian man walked in with the grocery bags. The receptionist knew him, so he walked up to me and proceeded to ask me riddles. When I finally got the answer to one, he reached into his bag and gave me a Snickers, then left. To this day I'm really curious as to what would motivate a man to become a wholesome riddler. You experienced a random encounter, my dude. Dude completed his side quest. That guy had a 1 in 256 chance of appearing. This kid I knew in school, senior year of high school, decided one day to give out neckties to as many people as he could. No explanation, no requirements, he'd just walk up and say, "Want a tie?" Then pull one from his bag, hand it to you, and walk away. Chaotic good. The gentleman in a business suit handing me his umbrella in the middle of a downpour. We just were passing each other on the sidewalk, our eyes met, and he just handed over the umbrella with the "Here you go." Never saw him ago. I had a similar encounter. When my oldest was a toddler, he went to daycare in the downtown area of our city. We took the bus, then the subway, and then walked to daycare. Didn't have a car, then I'd get back on the subway for a few stops to go to work. One afternoon, it was pouring. I'm by myself, holding a 2-year-old, his backpack, my work bag, and trying to book it 4 city blocks to the subway station. No hands left for an umbrella. A businessman, probably a high-priced lawyer, based on the area, walked us all the way to the entrance of the subway station, holding an umbrella over us the whole time. I encountered a lot of nastiness commuting with a kid that year, but we also met with random kindness from strangers too. The foreign exchange student and his parents who walked past my park bench on campus and dropped his passport. I chased after them to return it, and his mom started screaming at me in broken English like, "Why you have his papers? Why you steal his papers?" While the kid and his father looked like they were going to die from embarrassment. This happened to me in the airport when I was 8. The man dropped his wallet and I gave it to him. His wife was just like, "Count the money in it, she looks like a thief." He didn't even have any money in it and she accused me of stealing it. Some people. An Irish guy, not in Ireland, who spoke with such a strong accent that I couldn't make out a single word. To this day I question whether it was just a prank. Was it this guy? YouTube link. That video's a classic. Honestly, it was stronger than that because I can make out some of what that farmer says. I was on a tram and I didn't have a ticket, and the ticket inspectors came on. I got asked to have my ticket seen and I said I couldn't find it on me, and he said he'll come back so I can look for it. There was a stranger sat on the seat behind me who had a ticket. He gave it to me and he got off at the next stop. Guy gave me his ticket so I wouldn't be issued a fine. I am a ticket inspector, and believe me, we know people are doing this. And if I turn around, I do it so you can get the stranger's ticket. We're also humans. I ran away from foster care when I was 17 and was living on the streets of NYC. It was a bad situation, but but I would still try to take the train as often as I could to go to my high school. I ran into one ticket inspector a handful of times who always made it clear he would come back around for my ticket once I found it. Things got noticeably rougher for me as time went on, and there was one day near the end of the year where he slipped me a brown bag with a sandwich, an orange, a Twinkie, and a handwritten note saying that he packed one just like that for his daughter every day and to never forget to dream big. I never saw him again after that, but I still carry that note 6 years later and will never forget him. Ticket inspectors like you all are the reason I graduated high school and was able to survive, so thank you on behalf of all of the other me's whose lives you might have touched. I was at a pool bar at a resort in Jamaica. A British lady next to me asked me the most random question, which turned into a nearly 3-hour conversation. The question, "What is a redneck?" It was a lot more difficult to explain than I thought it would be. I didn't realize that was an unknown concept to a lot of Brits. Reminds me of an old joke for some reason. What's the difference between a cowboy and a redneck? Acreage. I met a guy from New Jersey at a pool bar at a resort in Jamaica. He was much older and we just talked and shot the crap, did impressions. I did my best Jersey accent. Drank more and more whiskey and stayed until the pool was closing and we both went up to our rooms and never saw or spoke again. I used to walk to school at around 7:30 a.m. every morning during high school. Each morning through 9th and 10th grade, I used to pass an old Asian man in a sweater and sweatpants. He used to jog every morning, and we would always briefly see each other at the exact same time. Eventually we were familiar with each other and we would exchange good mornings and a smile, and carry on. The last time I saw him was at a supermarket, and it had been quite a while since I had seen him during my walks to school. When we made eye contact, he got so happy and smiled and waved and introduced me to his wife. She was just as kind as he was. As I continued my walks in the morning until graduation, I always hoped to run into him again and see how he had been. I guess I grew attached to him or something. Unfortunately, I never saw him again after that, and from time to time he still crosses my mind. I hope he's okay. He used to be the highlight of my days when no one else could smile at me. Never underestimate the power of a genuine smile. When I was in college, there was a football player named Ben. Ben was a genuinely nice guy with a smile that could literally light up a room. It didn't matter how well he knew you, if you were in his orbit, he would give you this wonderful, soul-healing smile. It's been over a decade since I saw him last, but I can picture his face when I walked into the room. Thinking back on it, it still makes me smile. I hope he's doing well, and life hasn't dimmed his light. I was driving down south with my girlfriend. We have a blowout, so I put on the donut. The donut blows out while we're exiting the very next exit. So there we are, maybe 19 and at least 100 miles from anyone we know, at a gas station in the middle of nowhere. I'm thinking on what to do next, and probably looked like there was something wrong, so this older man offered to help. He drives me 20 or so minutes to a junkyard to get a cheap tire. Then he puts the tires on the rim with no more than a pry bar and some soapy water. Had a compressor on his truck, so he aired it up and I put it on. And we went on our way. All we need more people like that guy in the world. It starts with you. Play your part and I'll play mine. We can make this world bright enough to shine. Yes, indeed. We've all got talents to share with the world. The most satisfying thing in life is helping others, not for personal gain, but for the sake of making the world around you just a little bit better. Today you. Tomorrow me. I have a very similar story. I'm a minority born and raised in the South. My family was once taking a family vacation when I was around 12 years old. We had a blowout in Georgia on our way to Florida. We put a donut on and got to a gas station 15-ish miles from where we were, where the donut blew as soon as we were trying to leave and find a Walmart or somewhere to buy a tire. We waited a while, cars driving around us, etc., no one helping. Then all of a sudden, you hear loud-ass country music coming nearer and nearer. Then you see it. It was a lifted 1980s Dodge Ram, with 2 Confederate flags mounted in the back. Dude hops out of his truck, wearing his Confederate flag trucker hat, and flannel shirt with the arms cut off. He is what you imagine when you have to imagine the most redneck person ever. His belt buckle was effing huge, he had cowboy boots on, etc. Anyway, dude comes over and we are expecting him to be racist as F, but instead, he grabs some chains and rigged the car to be towed behind his truck, he drove us to Walmart and bought us a new tire, refusing to let us pay or give him any money for the help, and then we were on our way. I'll never forget him peeling off singing to some Tim McGraw. Edit guys, this is just a wholesome story. Don't buy me awards. Save your money and go over to r/random_acts_of_pizza and feed someone who is hungry instead. As a Redditor who once could not afford to feed myself more than 3-ish times a week last year, this subreddit literally saved my ass. Support them. Or somewhere like r/assistance. To list by r/assistance that is of other subreddits that can help you, allow you to help others. Web link. Reddit link. Legend. Man, with all the crap going on, needed to hear this story today. I've had some really bad luck with car trouble, including multiple flats, but never have I been so unlucky as to get a flat on the donut. Ouch. I'm happy it worked out okay. The fact that he dismounted and mounted a tire with just a crowbar is impressive. Mounting a tire on a wheel by hand is not easy. The lady who told me I looked great in blue, and that it was clearly my color. To this day, if I'm deciding between shirts to buy or wear, I'll go with blue. That compliment was about 15 years ago at least. Reminds me of how I won't cut my hair beyond a certain length because I was once told by my friend's mom that I looked really fantastic and like Iggy Pop or something. Someone told me I look like Jerry Garcia. I don't know if it's a compliment or not. But holy crap, they were right. I look like a Muslim Jerry Garcia. Just guys receiving compliments. We'll hang on to those memories for years. I was drunk on my front porch one night. Me and a couple of friends were shooting the crap. I lived in a rough neighborhood at the time. Lot of homeless people, but most of them were decent people just down on their luck. Anyway, I see a homeless guy walking by my house and I holler out to him, "Yo man, you want a beer?" And he's like, "Man, hell yeah, thank you." So he comes up into the yard, I give him a beer and an extra one for the road. He starts going on about how he misses his son and how he never gets to see him anymore. We all sit and listen to him. He starts crying and says he bought his kid a bag of brand new Hanes socks and his mom wouldn't let him have them. Now I don't know what he did to deserve such treatment. Maybe he's a total son of a bitch and deserves to be where he is, maybe not, I have no idea. But what I do know is, whatever his past, he was having a very human moment at the time and he was super thankful, not just for the beer, but that me and my friends were listening and talking with him. Just letting him vent. Then he tries to give me the pack of socks he bought for his kid, which I vehemently refused. I was like, "Man, you keep 'em, your feet might get cold out there." But he wasn't hearing it. I mean, he refused to keep them. He flat out insisted that I take them. Eventually it became obvious he wasn't going to take no for an answer and he wore me down and I accepted them. I guess he didn't need the reminder. He moved on and the party vibe was completely gone. We all just went inside and crashed. About a year ago I fell off the wagon and was back to drinking heavily every night. In about July, some random dude from the apartment complex said he was homeless but crashing on his buddy's couch for the weekend, was walking by. I offered him some beer and smokes to keep me company since it was late night outside and I was spooked. He told me about his current life issues and how alone and unsupported he felt. We talked for hours. In November I happen upon him again, but he's dressed much nicer and has a bounce in his step. He explains that talking to me that night really helped him get his ass into gear. He gave my drunk ass that look, said, "If I can do it, you can. You're never alone." I'm nearly 2 months sober again with zero interest in picking up a bottle. I've officially started therapy, and have clear but manageable goals laid out to help me move forward. If he can do it, I can. Edit. Thank you all for the awards. The show of love and support has me in tears. Thank you all, for just being you. Never forget that you're not alone. Don't forget to take the time to care for yourself. Let yourself cry. Celebrate the little wins. There's always a silver lining, no matter how small, so notice it. If Nick can do it, we can too. What did you do with the socks? They fit, they were clearly unused and still in the packs, so I wore them. Socks are expensive. Why not? I didn't know how long ago the story was and so I was half expecting it to end with "that was 20 years ago. I still keep one of those socks at the back of my drawer and remember that day, haha." When I was super overweight, I was just starting to work out somewhat regularly. Being morbidly obese at the gym is terrible. I have never felt more eyes on me before in my life. I was on a treadmill, grinding out some inclined walk/light jogging, and a super fit girl got on the machine next to me. This was all pre-COVID. She did a short warm-up, and before she got off the treadmill she turned to me and gave me a high five and told me to keep it up. It was so encouraging to have that support, when I was used to getting stared at by everyone else in the gym. Her small, kind gesture went a long way. I was jogging once and obviously struggling, 250 pounds, very out of puff, and a really fit young guy was jogging towards me and shouted, "Go on girl, you can do it," and ran on. I swear I felt like an Olympic athlete after that. Such a small thing for him to say but gave me motivation. Honestly, if I ever see anyone unfit or overweight doing exercise I just think good on them, and I imagine a lot of people do, though I guess there are some buttholes out there. Exactly. Everybody start their fitness journey somewhere, so it's really not right to ever judge or shame anyone at the gym. You have no idea what they've been through. Most people don't look at obese people in the gym out of ridicule, they look out of admiration. People who have been going to the gym for a long time love seeing fat people actively trying to get in better shape. Completely agree. And I want to encourage people beginning on their fitness journey but don't want to make them feel bad, so I default to not doing anything. Good to know the poster didn't find it offensive. Edit: I don't think I've ever had a post get over 100 likes, nor have I ever gotten an award. So even though I don't feel like I deserve it, thank you. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.